see. Something's going to happen. Something wonderful.
My God, it's full of stars.
Yo, what is up? Welcome back, everyone, to the NY Patriot Show. Now, if this is the first time that have you ever come across me or watched this or listened to me, hit that like, subscribe, follow button, whatever it is, because if you came across this video and you're watching it, or you came across this podcast and you're interested in listening to it, I'm sure that I have plenty of other stuff that you'll be interested in hearing. And so check it out. Today's show is going to be another one of my shorts. This one's going to be based on the symbolism and stuff, signs that you see people throwing around. There's a lot of stuff out there on it. Some of it I think is wrong, some of it I think is right, but I also don't think I haven't seen any of it really being shown, like how people are using it as signs and symbols and grades and stuff and rituals. So I wanted to try to show how some of those symbols were also being shown when you see these people on TV and in the news and in the media throwing them up. Real quick, I also do want to add as well, this episode, the stuff with the symbolism and stuff that I'm showing, these are my interpretations and my opinions and ideas, and for all I know, they could be wrong, but just from my experiences in magic and stuff, this is what I think it could possibly be. This is just my opinion and just my commentary on what I'm seeing in the world around me and from the stuff that I've experienced in my life. So, just wanted to get that out of the way. Now here, I'm going to pull up. Now you can see there's a whole bunch of shit on here. I'm not getting into the knock signs, really, so one of those is cut off. But at the top, you do have a bunch of the elemental signs. You do have the sign of Earth, which is kind of putting your one hand out and your one hand behind you. You do move your legs. It looks like in the position in the picture you're supposed to. It almost looks like putting out a swastika, in my opinion. I mean, not a swastika, what Hitler would do when he put his arm out and shit and stuff. It looks like that to me. I mean, that's a good representation or a good way to explain what you're supposed to be doing there. That is for the element of Earth. These are also signs that are used as grades too in certain secret societies, like in the Golden Dawn and other ones. These things apply to grades. Then you also have the sign of Air, which is like this. Now, I've also wondered, is it the same thing, almost close to the Freemason sign? There's something to that. Then there's the sign of Water. I'm holding it probably up a little bit too much. It's basically like an upside down triangle. That is the symbol for water. And you flip that up, and then you get, the old famous Jay-Z fucking fire symbol. Those other two things in the top corner, I'll show you. I know, when doing the greater hexagram ritual and stuff like that, will be showing, pulling open the veil and closing it. That's why those signs are there. That's representing the spirit. And then I have here the LVX signs. Those are used in the greater ritual or the lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram. It's kind of like a formula, and it is something that is used when you're doing the rituals. And I had even left out on those elemental signs, I think I did mention it before. In the greater hexagram, when you were calling upon certain, the greater hexagram, the greater pentagram, because that is all just elementals when dealing with the pentagram. When you're doing the greater one, you will be making those symbols because you're calling upon those energies or those spirits or whatever from that direction that you want to contact or whatever you're trying to do, you're going to be doing those. So they're also used in rituals themselves. Just like these LVX signs, these are used in the greater hexagram ritual if you're invoking, or the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, if you're banishing. And then you can banish specific ones, invoke specific ones, all that shit. You can get wild with that stuff. So the first one, cross, the sign of Osiris slain. The sign of Isis in mourning. Kind of like that. It is actually representing the swastika. And your hands up like this. sign of Apophis and Typhon. Basically, that's the rising beast, in my opinion. And that's the sign of Osiris risen. Standing there with the arms crossed. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that, explain all of those and reiterate that these are used in, rituals themselves, besides, degrees or other things. Again, here you go, the LVX sign. The reason, again, that I'm showing you with the sign of the Isis of mourning, which has got an arm up and kind of look like a swastika, there is the option of making just an L. Now, I do still think that has other meanings to it as well. I'm not going to get into that. And, it's also added, sometimes people will be like, oh, if you have a problem making the swastika, you can do this, but whatever. So there is that option of making an L. I want to specify that because that will come up later on, I think. And if I left it out, I will add it verbally. Again, I'm showing you the 4 elements. They are also, if you were to do Liber Resh, which is a Thelemic ritual, it's basically 4 prayers a day. At certain times, you will be facing a certain direction, and you will be using that sign, those symbols. You will be doing those as you're doing the prayer. So just wanted to show that as well. Throw that in there. Oh, good. Left it in. Thank God. The Beatles. I mean, to me, you got Sign of Osiris slain, Apophis and Typhon. Now we got, I don't want to make a swastika. Well, you definitely don't want to make a swastika in this position. If you're trying to sell shit. So now you do that one. And then you kind of almost got, you got your hand up. Because again, you don't want to put it out too far. Trying to sell an album. You don't want to look like Hitler. Maybe. I'm just saying maybe there's a possibility of what this is showing. Maybe he's doing the element of earth again. Which, almost kind of fits what they're saying, going and coming back. I don't know. Whatever. So I did want to show that one. And the reason why I did want to show this one is because, like I said before, in my opinion, I have heard on podcasts and I've seen on other shows, people try to break this down and they fuck up 1 or 2 of them. I'm just like, or they they just don't understand how these things are also used in ritual work. It's just not explained and not touched on. So I wanted to make sure I threw this in just for that. Let's see what we got coming up next. And again, the sign of Osiris risen. It's the ending of the LVX formula. And in my opinion, that's one possibly extending into the abyss. It's kind of an enlightened symbol, technically, I think. So then you have your boy, or fucking everybody's boy lately, who's coming to save the day. We got Elon Musk. He looks like he's doing it right here. Maybe that's a coincidence. I don't know. But then he's doing it right here again, too. There may be other ones out there of him doing this. I'm just not going to throwing tons of them. If you want to go through the time, there was actually plenty of hand signs that this guy does tend to use. Some of them, I didn't use him for all of them, and I do want to make that statement also in this show. Some of these people I'm showing, there's probably by far and better things that I could show. It's just the thing is, I can only find them in a post or a thing that somebody else did. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it's not photoshopped. I just couldn't find the actual picture itself from the source, so I really I wanted to stick with stuff that I actually found myself real quick. And I think this will still justify anyway what I'm showing. I think it's good enough. So, yeah, we got Elon Musk. That's 2 of them. Him now showing the sign of Osiris risen. Then here we go again with the element of fire. They love throwing that one around. So we're going to get into that one real quick. Oh, there we go. We got fucking Jay-Z. Got our boy Tyson. Both throwing that up. And I do want to add, and I'm going to get into it later, I do think that sometimes the thing of fire, or even going more of a diamond shape, is showing the kind of like a Vesica Pisces symbol, and I can still see them being interchangeable in a sense. Or it's just, lack of them really trying to make it look perfect, who knows. Or it could be both. So we Got Jay-Z. Oh, then we got, I'm blocking it. You can't see it. My face is in the way, but Kanye throwing it up. Actually, if you go check out his site right now, I think it's still up. It was a newer shirt that he just added. He's got pictures of him doing that with the freaking bear. A bear of all things. So, you got, Denzel. No, Denzel. No. Got Denzel and Jay-Z throwing it up. And now here, maybe you can't tell exactly who it is because of whatever. That's Oprah. I mean, she's really good, actually, for throwing up, like, signs and stuff that I've shown already. This, again, like I'm saying, that could be the Vesica Pisces symbol, which would be, kind of like an oval, or what I think is a perfect example. When you have the Vesica Pisces, that piece that's in the middle, the OTO Laman is the same shape. And in my opinion, that also can be kind of considered a pineal gland. And when you want to cover it up sexually, you will make it look like sexual things on women that look like that, just to make it even more occulted so nobody even questions what they're really supposed to be. So, yeah, that could just be that. Maybe it's the fire sign. But that is Oprah. She's another, like I said, good one for that stuff. Then again, you see, then you have it there. Again, now is she doing it more? Is that the water sign, or is she kind of doing that symbol more with the water? And then you got Jay-Z throwing up his fire sign again, thinking he's all that. And he has the water sign that I just said that I thought Oprah might have been showing. You see Donald Trump and Melania. He's sitting there now. Maybe that one's coincidental. It could just be that. He's doing it here again. Donald Trump keeping his fingers like that again. We got Elon Musk. Now, that could be kind of like the Laman or the Vesica Pisces symbol that I was mentioning before. Maybe the water. There you go again. Donald Trump doing it again. Actually, if you were to go and check a lot of his, you can actually see Donald Trump doing that a lot. And that's another one that you can find Elon Musk doing a lot. Like I said, one, I was trying to keep this short, and two, I wasn't really trying to bite on other people's stuff. Even though I'm sure it was real, it's still, there's always that chance. So just sticking with the stuff that I could find easy and to do this faster. Now here we go with the element of air. Got the element of air coming up. Now, again, like I said, this could be wrong. This could be a stretch. For all we know, this is her just showing a Freemason in distress. Maybe it's not air, but I'm also wondering, is this the hand signs also something just tweaking that idea and showing a different direction, or is it just a way to, like, not be so obvious? Or I'm just completely wrong. Who knows? All right. Oh, then we got, everybody else's new Lord and Savior, Kanye West. That, could be a possibility too. But, unfortunately, when you see them throw up other shit that's very blatant, you have to start wondering what's the other stuff they're looking at. And here we go again with Apophis and Typhon. Again, from the LVX formula, in my opinion, the beast rising. Apophis and Typhon. And there it is again, Apophis and Typhon, showing you from Crowley stuff. I did want to add that, in my opinion, this sign is very deep, and I think multi-layered in ways that it's represented, and even as deep, like even in depth of what's really behind being shown. It's almost like one is like, we'll see when I get into it. There's multiple things I think about this with this symbol. And again, like I said, supposedly Crowley gave this to Churchill as a way to defeat the Nazis. I mean, they were using an obvious occult symbolism that was changed and perverted or whatever. You had the Nazi thing, and then you even still have like the symbol that Himmler had in his, whatever that place was, that he had built, that total occult fortress, that black sun symbol. It's basically looks like a bunch of swastikas like spinning around. You look it up, you'll see what I'm talking about. So this was supposed to be defeating that. I also think that I'm going to be showing later on the rabbit ears. Going the peace sign. I even think this will go as far back as to Jacob's ladder. So that's all I'm saying. I mean, there's many deep explanations, I think, behind that. Like I said, Jacob's Ladder, there you go. I mean, this may even sound out there. There was like stuff that I've seen on Call It Crush's show when he was showing like petroglyphs or like glyphs out over by Skinwalker Ranch and glyphs he's come across of. You will find things that you would think just looks like a person with like fucking these tiny little arms and legs. But I'm like, yo, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, if you actually think of that being a Jacob's Ladder, that's not a person anymore. And this whole thing is actually just showing you electricity and crossing the abyss. As crazy as that sounds, I really do think that this shit is symbolized more than people would ever realize. So here it's Jacob's Ladder. And then I've even wondered again, does Jacob's Ladder have to do with like the Stairway to Heaven, the vertebrae, the 33, and all that stuff? And those were those that were left in the right pillar. Here you go again. There's another creepy thing, just in general to refer to, but, follow the rabbit ears, whatever, what all that shit he said. Could that be just showing that again? And Angelina Jolie, we know she ain't fucking too normal. Never know. And Barack Obama, rabbit ears. Actually, politicians do that to themselves a lot. You got Barack Obama doing it to Bush. Rabbit ears. It's just cool. We're playing around. And then, actually, before we even get into this picture's a perfect segue from one topic to the next. I do think the rabbit ears I have seen, and especially by John McCain and some other guy, I forget, has done that behind people's heads or on top of their heads. I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, I think that's probably something else, but can it be used still maybe showing Jacob's Ladder or something like that? Or it could be totally different. Because, I mean, I do think that symbol really does have its own stuff to it, but could coincide with each other in a sense. So now this one, and it was a thing I forgot to talk about in the beginning. This one. The rabbit ears and the sign of silence, the sign of Hopar-Kratz, sign, and then there's different versions of Horus's fucking name that Crowley had, which is basically just, in my opinion, different ways of explaining the story over his archetype, free, having knowledge, being a slave. This is like some of the stuff in between. I do think that those stories of Horus's different aspects is just depending if he's enlightened or not, or if he's going through the battle of within himself to become enlightened and all sorts of shit like that. It's very much archetypal. The sign of silence does go back to ritual and stuff from rituals as well. Like I mentioned before, the ritual, lesser ritual of the hexagram, all those rituals. Whenever you are done, like with the greater ritual of the pentagram, when I go and charge that thing and I'm calling in that thing, and I'm done doing what I'm doing in that direction, I end it with this, the sign of silence. I'm done. Then I turn and I go to my next thing, draw it out. And another thing I forgot to mention. When you're doing the Star Ruby, also, now that is a thelemic, specifically Aleister Crowley, Star Ruby. His stuff, you're not drawing the things with your hand. You're drawing them in your mind, keeping it in your mind's eye. You're drawing whatever, that the pentagram. Like in the Star Ruby, you're going to draw that pentagram in your head. You're going to have the sign of fire by your head, and then you're going to visually go like that as you would to charge if you don't use a wand because you're not you can, whatever. You're projecting the image out with your eyes closed, or my opinion, or you're taking it from inside your head and projecting it out instead of writing it, and you are using that symbol again, the sign of fire on your head by your pineal gland, as you charge that out. I did leave that out in the beginning. Wanted to throw that in because, again, besides a grade, it's also used in ritual work, using that symbol. Besides elemental stuff, it's also used in Crowley's Star Ruby in that way. So back to what I was getting at, the sign of silence. I thought this was a great picture. It's showing both rabbit ears and the sign of silence. There you go, the sign of silence. That's supposed to be Crowley in his AA garb. Who knows if it's really him or not? Then you go with Opak Kratz, doing the same thing, the sign of silence, or maybe he's just biting his fingernail. Who knows? But that's that. Oh, and then this Shirley Temple. But if you were to go pay attention to that stuff, I mean, I didn't throw a bunch up because, I mean, I think we've all seen plenty of people do that. I wasn't going to go through it all. I didn't want to even spend the time pulling them off or whatever. But, I mean, we see that constantly. And that is used constantly. Every time you're done with the direction of what you're doing, you're ending with that. You're constantly using it. Again, some of these people may not know what they're doing. I could be completely wrong, or there's something to it. But that stuff is used in ritual work. Now, this stuff right here, this is like a little extra part, kind of isn't to do with what I just showed you. But I do think that, this, I do think I'm onto something with this one. These OK symbols that we see Ron DeSantis doing. And that we see Trump do. We see a lot of people. In my opinion, that is, if they were to just be doing it like that, I think, or just, not the ones that kind of go like that, but you do sometimes see people go like this, wrapped up like that. If they did it like that more often, I think, people maybe see a stronger case, but unfortunately, it's not like that. But I do think I'm right. Totally, for me. From my experiences, I think I'm correct, especially since in my experiences with crossing the abyss, I've gone deaf. And this thing right here, the cochlea, or however you say it correctly, supposedly scientists admit are able to pick up, there's hairs inside there that pick up the sounds and vibrations and stuff from the moon. Now, people may not know, especially if this is the first time coming across me, I always say that's the thing, that's the problem. It's keeping us in the matrix. That's the matrix maker. You cut that thing off, you break out of that, you break out of the matrix, and you go into spirit. You're no longer stuck in the flesh. It's kind of where I go with that stuff. So again, we have that. I do think they are showing that inside the ear. That is something you're going to have to shut off if you want to have a magical experience and cross the abyss. I do think that is something that will get shut off. Or I think when they want to show that, they're literally telling you, you're listening to me. You're receiving my signals. I'm in charge. I'm influencing you somehow because you're still sitting there listening to me. You're enthralled with me. I'm rich and famous because of me. Because you guys being so enthralled. So, and I also think it has been used sometimes you see that type of symbol, that spiral symbol. It's not always used for pedophilia. Even the triangle one. These symbols go far, back in time, so far, showing you some of the most occulted stuff. And people just jump to pedophilia. I hate to say it, but a lot of times I think, it's just wrong, and there was a certain movement going on around a while ago that I think really screwed up that stuff. They weren't completely wrong. They're pointing out something that's serious. It's just that if you make everybody think it's kid stuff and not the fact that you're separating your soul from your body and that you're going deaf doing it, that's too much for us to handle. I can handle kids getting touched and diddled, but to actually be told that the people that are running this world literally separate their soul from their body and have these crazy experiences and then use it on us, no. People really fucking lose their minds or wouldn't even entertain it. So other ideas are a little bit easier, and then you still keep them dumb. But we also do know these symbols are used for that stuff as well. Probably came from some perverted version of magic. Or whatever, who knows where that came from. But so, yeah, and it also looks like a snail in a sense. You can see that, or seashells, occultism. This top part of the brain, I didn't throw in other slides that I do have. Maybe I'll cover it in something else, but that is even, in my opinion, like the frog. That's start getting into Pepe's stuff with that, and that's a whole other thing. Maybe I'll do a short on that one day, how occult the frog and Pepe is. So yeah, so I do think that is that's what they're showing where they're doing that. In my opinion, I even think those are the rings that the Ark of the Covenant is sitting in, because if you think about the Ark of the Covenant, it's got the wings on there. They say, oh, maybe it's something to do with electricity. Maybe things would spark and go off if you connected it. All these different ideas about it. No, the shit's in your head. And when your eyes are closed and you're deep into your mind, you're going to start, and you start actually, you start moving the energy from your body up into your head. And if you're balanced, not fearful, and do everything you're supposed to do to have a magical experience and shut off the bullshit and actually listen to God, that's going to rise up. Your eyes are going to be closed, I'm assuming, and you're going to start hemi-syncing. The Ark of the Covenant is in you, it's in your head, and it's sitting in those rings that are inside your head. Those are the rings that the Ark of the Covenant is sitting in. I think, could be wrong. Maybe smoke too many joints. There you go again, just to show you the symbol. To show you what the thing is in your ear. Then we got him throwing it up. And what a surprise. He throws up tons of stuff. This guy, again, he does tons of times. Politicians love this one. That's how they get your votes. You're listening to me. Come on, man. You're listening to me. Everybody's listening to him. And there you go again. She's a good one for throwing these things up, right? She doesn't forget any of them. Oh, and then this guy again. What a surprise. Oh, and him again. He loves throwing that one up a lot. So, yeah. That's all. Just wanted to kind of, just do a little short on how I think that there is a lot of these symbols, people that we have made rich and famous, throwing around. I think some people have a good idea, or some people blow them off as maybe just coincidental, especially if you're on that side and who happens to like that person. Oh, Joe Biden isn't doing that on purpose. Oh, no, Elon Musk isn't doing that on purpose. It just depends on what side of the street you're being played on. You will, make up excuses because you don't want to believe something horrible about someone that you idolize, someone that you look up to and think is going to save your life. But, they do toss them up quite oftenly. I think to where we shouldn't discredit that. No matter what side of the street they're on, we should be looking at everybody objectively. And maybe take into consideration, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe I was onto something. Maybe there was something up with these symbols because they are used as elemental grains. When you're doing Liber Resh and prayer, when you're doing rituals. These things are used quite often for many different reasons in secret societies and magic and occultism. So, yeah, that wraps that one up. And again, this was just all my interpretations and opinions of the world around me and how I view things from the way that I've lived my life, from the experience I've had. My commentary, I could be wrong. I could be crazy. But, yeah, that's it. Thank you again for checking this out. This is, again, like I said, your first time coming across me. Your first time hearing me or seeing me. Hit that like, subscribe, or follow button. I don't know what you're on, YouTube, podcast, whatever. Hit that if you enjoyed it, because you're definitely going to like other stuff that I've put out. And you're going to like other stuff that's going to be coming out. Also, check out our new Rejects and Friends YouTube. The link is in the bottom. The link tree has been changed. Rejects and Tor and more came down, the most craziest, stupidest reasons. So whatever, I'm going to do what I can do. Hopefully this one will last. Go check out Rejects and Friends. The link has been changed in the bottom. And again, check out all my other stuff. I have the NY Patriot Show, what this is a part of. It's just shorts. I have the Occult Rejects, if you have never heard of them, which I'm sure if you've probably heard of me, unless, again, this is the first time you're coming across me. You haven't heard that. If you thought this was good, definitely go check that out, because that's much more deeper dives. It's really like, this show really is a light version of the Occult Rejects. I talk and we talk and show and bring receipts of what we're actually talking about and evidence, court cases, whatever we got to do. We try to throw that stuff on a lot more deeper dives. Definitely go check that out. Longer episodes, series on topics, all sorts of stuff. Check that out. Check out the Spiritual Gangsters. It's another show I co-host. That's more of a little bit more personal, spiritual experiences that fans, listeners, people that we find on social media that may not actually have a podcast or anything, but they got a page and they got a story to tell. We bring them on, and even other podcasters. We bring them on. What got you into doing this, and what woke you up? What changed you? What got you to what you're doing now? A little bit more personal and deeper show, but it's pretty cool as hell. So yeah, go check all that out. It's in the link tree. And thank you again. And until the next one, close your eyes, look deep inside, find yourself, find God, and find freedom. Because you ain't going to find him in all this other tangible, useless stuff. God's inside you. He's just waiting for you to find him.